And I'm Nick. A local landmark is getting updated. Spencer digs into the story.
The famous corner barn on Gallatin-Hendersonville border is finally getting a rehab, and neighbors like Jessica Meyer want to see it renovated.
I think instead of having it just sitting there, you should use it as a good place where people want to come and gather. If it's for learning, if it's for activities, make it a spot here within Sumner County, especially into Gallatin and Hendersonville, that is a landmark that people can know, recognize, and use.
Construction started this week on the stone barn, turning it back to an agricultural barn, courtesy of the Rogers Group. Once renovations to the barn are complete next year, they will evaluate possible community access, particularly for areas for agriculture education. I'm Spencer Red Global.
A local army of moms is fighting predators. Chloe tells us how.
The Mom Army is a nationwide organization, and it consists of battle line mamas and dads who want to stop the war on children. A local Mount Juliet member has started Mom Army Nashville for anyone who wants to get involved in the Nashville area or any surrounding area. On October 23rd, 2024, a candlelight prayer vigil took place at Charlie Daniels Park in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. This candlelight vigil was filled with songs, tears, prayers, and guest speakers for the 325,000 missing children all across America. This was a nationwide event, but it also happened here in my city, Mount Juliet.
I am Mom Army Nashville's chapter leader, and a few weeks ago here in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, I hosted a candlelight prayer vigil. As a mom, this subject matter means so much to me. I can't imagine losing a child or a child being kidnapped, let alone being sold into child labor or trafficked. So there is a very real epidemic happening in our country right now as we speak. And this is our own government's report from the Department of Homeland Security. And so we, as a army of moms, joined together a few weeks ago here at Charlie Daniels Park with dozens of community members. We had 2 pastors speak and pray over these children, and we are just determined to find these children, return them to their families, and stop the war on children.
Mom Army Nashville and the entire Mom Army community will never stop fighting for all the missing children across America and the entire world.
A local church has been building a new school. Amy paid them a visit.
The river started as River of Life in 1993. My dad felt called to move to the area and plant a church. He started church in what was at the time a Days Inn conference space over on Lowry. As pastors' kids will often do, we are the #1 volunteers. So was not involved in ministry, but I was involved in ministry because it was part of our household. So I watched my dad pastor the church and facilitate a career in music as well. And as time progressed, over the years, I got married and we started a family. And around 2014, the Lord called Julie and I into ministry, and things changed.
Then on, you guys decided to move the property to where we are now, which is...
Right, so we're at 8200 Safari Drive, still in Smyrna, technically not in the town of Smyrna. We're right outside the city limits. This property was something that Dad felt the need to look for a larger space. We had about 16 acres to work with on Sam Ridley Parkway. He started looking for different pieces of property, explored options, made some offers on different pieces of property there in Smyrna, and I happened upon this piece of property and purchased it. The plan was to continue to look at developing this piece of property as we were looking at selling Sam Ridley Parkway property. We planned on selling it all at one time, but as March 2020 unfolded, that's when everything started to shut down with COVID, and they put a stop on our building. People who had purchased the property because of COVID and not sure how to proceed with what they wanted to do, they basically just said, y'all just stay in the building until we tell you you need to move out. They said, you know, we realize y'all are in a tough spot too, so let's kind of keep things on hold and we'll circle until we know how to land. So we submitted the idea to the county and said we need a temporary structure permit for this amount of time, and they said you can't get one for that long. So what happened was we opened Pandora's box when we went in and asked for that. Earlier in 2024, some things unfolded. Having a Christian school, having Christian education as a part of the river was something that my dad had talked about maybe even 15 years ago, something that he would like to do. And earlier this year, opportunities unfolded that said, it's time for you to do this now. And Julie and I sat down and she said, I think we can do this, and I think the Lord is guiding us towards providing Christian education. So we had the support of the church, we had the support of the people, we had the support of the elder board and the bishop. And so we began to move forward in plans to open in August with classes. August of 2024. We ran into some issues as we began to make plans to put the temporary classrooms on the property. The county came to us and said, you can't have a school on the church property. And my response was, why? And they said, you can fight this and you're going to win if you fight it, because there are federal laws that they're breaking in the process. That's the most rewarding thing about seeing all this unfold, is watching lives change and watching kids accept Christ and walk that out.
Hendersonville has 2 new aldermen on their board, Don Ward, Ward 2, and Mark Evans, Ward 6. In addition to being sworn in for another term, Mark Skidmore was elected as vice mayor. His major goal is to see the completion of the intersection on Main Street between Old Shackle Island Road and Walton Ferry Road.
Middle Tennessee is getting into the holiday season when it comes to giving. Russell introduces us to a group that likes to rap.
Welcome to Operation Christmas Child. Look all around. People are packing shoe boxes for Christmas. And for what purpose? We're gonna meet Ellen Jones, the sponsor for this event.
Operation Christmas Child is a mission that goes on outside of the United States. These boxes contain toys, hygiene products, and school supplies, going to children who are in desperate need. A lot of them are in war-torn countries. In each box, there will be a gospel tract in the language of whatever village or country the boxes are going to. So not only will the child who receives the box get the message of Jesus Christ's love for them, but their whole family, and in some instances, their entire village.
Wow, so amazing to see shoe boxes sent out to help the poor just for Christmas. All that to bring them joy. All happening here at Inglewood Baptist. This is Russell Wilson.
Catherine tells us about a home studio that's gaining a reputation for making music Nashville style.
This is Catherine Hoxie, joining Jonathan Nixon in the studio.
My name is Jonathan Nixon, and welcome to Fort Knox Studio here in Nashville, Tennessee. This is where I do all of my production for Miss Kay Fox and various other artists, and I'm also a bass player, and I do a lot of touring with a lot of various artists, but this is really a lot of my passion here at Fort Knox Studio.
Fort Knox Studio first opened its doors in Gallatin, Tennessee, eventually making its way to Madison, Tennessee, and most recently to its newest home in Old Hickory, Tennessee, a suburb of Nashville where it's been since 2022.
I got into music production when COVID hit. I'm a touring bass player, and all of the gigs just went away. And Kay Fox was commissioned to do vocals on a song, and she had a program in her computer called GarageBand. So I had previous experience recording music and stuff, so I was like, I can record you. And so I recorded her and fell in love with everything.
Like countless other musicians in Nashville, Tennessee, Jonathan Nixon was faced with a decision during the pandemic. He had to find a way to get the music to keep playing in spite of live music completely shutting down during that time.
Be all in, and you can't give up.
Pursuing a career in the music industry can definitely present its fair share of challenges, let alone during a global pandemic when live music came to a complete halt, especially here in Music City. But for those driven to succeed, the show must go on as it has for Jonathan Nixon. Reporting from Fort Knox Studio, Old Hickory, Nashville, Tennessee, this is Catherine Hoxie.
Fans may be in for some surprises as we head into the heart of the winter sports scene. Here's a look at sports.
I'm Emberlyn with your Pioneer Sports Update. The Nashville Predators made a surprise move over the weekend, trading goaltender Scott Wedgwood to the Colorado Avalanche. In exchange, they get Eustace Annunen and a 6th-round draft pick. Nashville traded top goalie prospect Yaroslav Oskarov to the San Jose Sharks in September. This weekend, the Tennessee Titans take on the only team lower than them in the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Titans were pulverized by the Washington Commanders this past weekend, 19-42. The Titans are now 3-9 on the season and have lost 3 of their last 4 games. On the bright side, Tennessee now holds the number 7 overall pick in the upcoming draft. Pioneer Sports could be getting a lot busier. Right now, Ball State has men's and women's basketball as well as baseball and softball, but an expansion could be ahead.
Ball State's athletics department has been investigating adding new sports programs in the upcoming years. Athletics director Bobby Hudson says they sent out a questionnaire to get student input and they have some ideas.
Women's volleyball and women's soccer, hopefully in the next few years. Hopefully we'll be having an announcement kind of that way soon.
There's also a disc golf course on campus, and students can use the fitness center for workouts, as well as the fitness trail on campus.
The Tennessee High School Championship games are set for the 2024 TSSAA football playoffs. All Blue Cross Bowl championship games will be played at Finley Stadium in Chattanooga from December 5th through the 7th. I'm Emberlyn with your Pioneer Sports.
Don't expect a break in the cold. Here's your Pioneer weather.
I'm Sarah with your Pioneer forecast. Temperatures are dipping down again later this week. We'll have mostly cloudy skies today as the wind starts to kick up. The high only hitting 45. More clouds tonight, the low tumbling to 30 in Clarksville. Tomorrow starting out with clouds, but a few rays of sun in the afternoon, a high of 45. Some light rain and snow tomorrow night, the low dropping to 31. Just a warning, if your clothing is wet and temps are in the 30s, you could be risking hypothermia if you are out for too long. Warning signs of hypothermia include uncontrollable shivering, memory loss, disorientation, slurred speech, and drowsiness. Stay dry and stay warm. I'm Sarah with your Pioneer forecast.
That wraps up this edition of Pioneer Viewpoint. I'm Nick.
And I'm Annie. Thanks for watching.